Well, Greg, I got you a Christmas present because, it's the Christmas season and I wanted to get you one.
No, you did. I didn't get you anything. Why didn't you say something? I feel terrible.
Okay, I want to do something special.
That is so nice. Thank you. Oh my gosh, look at that. Look at that, folks. Isn't that beautiful? Should I open it now or should I open it now or wait till Christmas?
Open it now.
You think so now?
Yes.
Kendall, it sounds like, is it a clock or a watch? I always like to guess.
Yes, I can't tell you.
Well, what made you decide to give me a Christmas present? That's so sweet.
Well, you've done a few jokes about me, so I was just like, you put me in there so many times, I might as well.
That's, and I thought you might be angry about some of those jokes.
No.
This says you're not, and I appreciate that. Well, what do you think, folks? Should we open it up and see what's in there? I'm guessing a clock. Let's have a look and see what exactly is in there.
Kendall.
Well, good morning and happy Sunday, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to this week's edition of Houston County News. I'm Messenger reporter Greg Ritchie. We've got a heck of a show for you this week, and we got some surprises coming up during next week. So watch out for that on Facebook here and on YouTube and all of our social media platforms. We've got some Christmassy stuff that I think you're going to really enjoy from one of our local pastors and other few surprises coming up. But first, let's welcome our constant companion here, Miss Kendall Hickson. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Very good. And Kendall is almost always here before I get here. I'm usually running late, and I blame it on the wheelchair, but I'm really just disorganized, and I'm halfway here, and I go, wait a minute, the key to the office.
Oh, no.
So what's going on? Tell me before we get started. I know Turning Point had a meeting. It's having a meeting.
Yes, sir. We had a meeting and everything went really good. So we got to, I think it was at El Jimador by HEB.
Sure.
And we got there and we had reserved a party room in the back to have our meeting in. And we get there and there's people in our spot. And we were like, oh, maybe there's just early people there. And it ended up being one of the managers or something got confused with a different party of 20 or something like that.
Oh.
And so we had to do it in the middle of the restaurant. But it was honestly a good learning experience. Everybody needs to be a little uncomfortable every now and then and be able to learn how to do stuff like that. So,
well, I've been surprised how well you do speaking in front of big crowds, because that's tough. A lot of people, you walk into, I know at the Toledo shop, the first meeting, there's 50 people there. A lot of people get sweaty and clam up, but
yes, sir.
You seem to be okay with that.
Yeah.
I hope. Do you think the podcast has helped you any? Probably not.
Oh, yes, I think it has.
If anything, it's set you back.
No, it's a great learning experience.
So a lot going on this week. And speaking about Turning Point, this is something for especially young people, but people of all ages to get more involved in politics and stuff. Mm-hmm. We have a new congressional district around here. And in today's newspaper, we talked to a couple of the candidates. One's from outside Latexo. One came to the Grapeland Noon Lions Club the other day, so look out for that. There's also some news in that race. Big news this week was social media. Mm-hmm. And I have a few opinions on social media, and I'd like to get some of your opinions. I don't know what social media you have or use, but oh boy, I tell you what, that's social media. I'm always surprised. So I know people I've known for years, mm-hmm. people connected with local churches and stuff. And they will get on, the kindest, sweetest people you've ever met. And they will get on Facebook and spew the biggest amount of hatred and venom. And you think, wait a minute, I know that lady. She's just what?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about Facebook that brings that out in people, or social media in general, I should say.
Yes, sir.
Or they will say, well, that Kendall Hickson I hate her. And
oh, no.
No, nobody ever said that.
Yeah, yes, sir.
You know what I mean? But then you go, well, do you know her? Well, no. And it's just like a name, and you go, well, wait a minute, that Greg Ritchie's a scoundrel. And I'm not saying that's not true, but no, but you say, wait, they say things, and you go, what? I'm a normal guy. love my country and my God and my people and my wife and my dog. I'm not crazy about the cat, if I'm honest.
Oh my
But
goodness.
I tolerate him. And the other thing is, we had somebody do something that I think is unacceptable. So we had somebody reach out to somebody made a comment that this person didn't like, and they reached out to them and said, "Hey, I want you to delete your comment." Well, I'm not down with that. I think everybody should have a say. So we banned that person. I had a few people come and they said, "Well, you don't believe in freedom of speech."
Oh,
Here's the problem with that argument, and I want to make this just in general. Freedom of speech is essentially the government can't come and say, if you vote for this party or that party or whatever. So I'm free to say, I think Trump's the best president in history. I'm free to say, I think Trump's the worst president in history. Nobody can put me in jail for saying those things. But if I go into, like a dirty motorcycle bar on the edge of some dusty Arizona town, and I go, who's got them girly girl bikes out there? Who's the toughest guy in here? Well, I'm probably going to have a problem.
yeah.
I have the freedom of speech to say that. And so what I mean by that is if you go on, your Facebook page, you say whatever you want about anybody, knock yourself out. Don't be surprised when you get behind the old keyboard there. When you meet those people, they might not be happy with you, or they might turn out to not be what you thought. But the second part is, you don't have the right to go on somebody else's page and say something. And the whole free speech argument to me seems, I think people say that, I have freedom of speech. You can't stop me from speaking. Well, that's not true. You can't yell fire in a theater. You go to jail for that. Believe me, I know. But you and I never actually talked about this. What do you do? Do you do Facebook or Instagram or what?
So I actually don't have any social media. I've never had any.
You lucky girl.
So I always kind of thought to myself, I was like, well, why don't I? Like, my mom and dad never said I could or couldn't.
Right.
It was just kind of like, well, I just never really cared too much, because whenever, like, obviously my mom or my dad does or whatever, or my siblings do, and I'll get on there and watch those reels with them. And I know why they call them reels, because they reel you in.
Yes, you watch one, you're there for
Yes.
sure.
Yes. And so I
When
guess.
my wife says, I'm going to check Instagram, I go, okay, see you in an hour.
Yep. So I've just never really been like too big of a fan of it. I'm sure I'll get it when I'm older, or even tomorrow if I wanted it. But
You know what? I hope not. And I mean that out of respect for you, because
sir.
I never had Facebook, never did any of that. I don't do Twitter. I don't do any of that stuff. I signed up for my first Facebook account when I started working at the newspaper. And I thought, wow, this is okay. There's all these people and all these things going on.
yeah.
I don't need to post every meal I eat.
Yeah.
And see how many likes I get. I don't care. There are certain things I do put online, but most of it's, what's going on, or hey, check this out or something. I don't need to. I don't know. I just never needed that applause, that virtual applause. And the other thing is, people say, I've got 2,000 friends on Facebook. I say, yeah, call them up, put out and say, hey, I'm moving this weekend. Can anybody help? Find out how many friends you have.
Yeah.
It's just a fake world, and especially for young folks like you, and I feel so bad for them, because a lot of them don't know, if you go on Instagram, and here's the beautiful girl,
Yep.
and she's your age, and she lives in a mansion, and she was in Italy last week, and here's the caviar hors d'oeuvres, and so much of that is fake.
Yes.
Like, she's not going to put on Instagram when she fell asleep in front of the TV with Doritos bits on her chest.
Yep.
Not going to show that picture. And I sometimes feel bad for young people, and it's very good and healthy that you don't do this. It really
Yes,
is. Who see this online and think, everybody else is living like that but me. That's the standard I have
Yes.
to live up to.
Yes.
When most of us are, struggling to pay for groceries, and mom and dad are going, could we turn the heat down a little because the light bill's really expensive, and doing what we can. And, we might have a little egg on our shirt for breakfast, and you know what I mean? We're just getting through life.
Yes.
And it's taken us, I'm afraid sometimes it's taken us so far away from who we really are and our sort of purpose on the earth. Mm-hmm. Because you think about it, nobody gets buried and they say he had 10,000 likes on his last post. nobody cares.
Yeah, I've always just seen it as like it's a very minuscule thing to a big world that is not as important as people make it seem it is.
Well, we appreciate the people on here that watch the show, obviously.
Oh, yes, yes.
And it definitely has its place.
Yes.
But I think people who live their lives online or take it all so seriously that I can't imagine going online and insulting somebody I've never met. I can't imagine insulting anybody, or not at least purposefully. So my bad jokes get me in trouble from time to time.
Goodness.
But anyway, I just, boy, it's shocking to see how people that you know would never say things to your face feel totally fine behind a keyboard or on their phone. Well, and then you meet them in person, you go, oh, that's not what I really meant. And you say,
You're like, what?
anywho. Houston County, Texas is a lot of things. It's our amazing cities and towns, Davy Crockett National Forest, and our fields and streams. It's cattle and lumber, manufacturing and tech support. It's national brands and mom and pops. It's our churches and it's our schools. For many of us, Houston County is home. Come visit us and see for yourself what makes this place special. Houston County, first in Texas history, first in our heart.
It's Merry Christmas time at Knox Furniture in historic downtown Crockett. This season, you'll find Santa Saver signs all over the store. Special holiday deals to make your home feel cozy and joyful for the people you love most. Since 1927, our family has been taking care of East Texans from our corner of Kemp Street and Goliad in downtown Crockett. And of course, you all know that delivery and setup is completely free. It's something that we believe is the way we should do business. Merry Christmas from the Knox family, your one-stop for furniture, appliances, flooring, mattresses, and accessories. 300 East Goliad, historic downtown Crockett.
At Darling Ingredients, we're more than a company. We're a driving force in transforming materials that others often view as waste into valuable products that feed animals, fertilize crops to fuel trucks and planes, and nourish people across the globe. From sustainable solutions that reduce food waste to innovative materials that shape industries, our work makes a meaningful impact in supporting daily life and demonstrates that sustainability and profitability can go hand in hand. From right here in Houston County to more than 15 countries around the world, Darling Ingredients, exactly as nature intended.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Houston County News. And this week, our special guest, Mr. Terry Weaver, filmmaker, director, producer, writer, actor. Have I missed anything?
Yes, but nothing public.
Fair enough. Well, actually, I was thinking about that. We talked a few months ago. And I'd like to go over a little bit of your background for, there's still some people, and believe it or not, this is still legal, that don't read every word I write. But Navy guy, Texas Aggie, faced a few demons along the way. Kind of walk us through briefly what got you from, here today.
Okay, well, I did serve. I had an atypical Navy job. I was a corpsman, and corpsmen either go with the Navy or they go with the Marines, and I got stationed with the Marines. So I ran around with those guys for 5 years.
Tough bunch.
Yeah, but you get used to it.
Right.
Yeah, we did a deployment to Iraq, and I learned a lot over there. I think probably one of the most valuable lessons, life lessons that I've ever received was from serving overseas. And that lesson is we have a lot to be thankful for that we'll never know. Most people will never know what they have. A lot that we take for granted. I remember looking at my bank account while I was serving over in Iraq, and I had $13,000 saved up. Doesn't sound like a lot, but back then,
Sure.
for a young guy,
Sure.
20 years old,
A fortune.
wow. Yeah. And I remember saying to myself, I would give it all for one day back in the United States with my family. Every single penny, and I wouldn't think about it once.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah, for sure.
Learned a lot in the military, banged my head a lot, but I really learned that I wanted to be an independent person, and that there's no such thing in the military. So I got out after 5 years, and I really wanted to be an entrepreneur. And I feel like early on, I was told there was an impression that I was going to lead a lot of people, and I didn't know what that looked like, but I knew it was going to take some creativity and some leadership. And this movie that we just released, I think, is a culmination of all that. 20 years after the military, we create this story that has some military storylines in it, and I think it's going to speak to a lot of veterans. I think it's going to speak to a lot of law enforcement, and it's just a fun ride.
Well, and it's such an adventure, that you went through. So, I mean, most Hollywood movies these days are very much done by committee. And they say, well, we need one of these characters and those characters. I mean, you can almost plot before you even sit down with your bag of popcorn, right? But you've been so blessed and lucky. You had this vision, this idea that plenty of us have had. But somehow you found the people, the financing, which people don't understand how important that is, how expensive it is to run cameras and all the rest. You somehow turned that dream into a real, honest to God, in the theaters film.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Well, you know what? 2023, I was leaving a project. I'd acted in a show, and I helped raise funds for this show. And I spent 4 years acting as the lead in this show. And I made a decision that I wanted to create something unique. And I found a partner, and we just said, okay, this is what we're going to do. And we made up our mind, and we just started charging after the goal. Now, I had never produced or directed a film. I'd written some things before, I'd acted, so I knew a little bit about the industry. But that's where the ingenuity came and the entrepreneurship came. We just figured it out. And it was no easy task. We didn't get our final funding until 6 weeks before the film was scheduled to shoot. And it was very, very stressful. But when you set your mind to something and you cast a vision, people will join you if you're a good person.
People follow passion, don't they, in leadership? They do. I think a lot of people don't know, here, I mean, we've got a couple cameras, we're having a conversation, no big deal. But if we were doing a film, we would have strict lines, for the most part. We'd have to do several angles, several takes. There'd be one camera behind me while I do my lines, and then it's two shot, and then cut back and forth. And, could you do it a little different? The amount of patience to be in a film, much less to be the guy behind it with this vision saying, I don't know why, but it's not perfect, to do it again. How do you deal with that as a person going, I'm stressing over this one syllable of this one word, am I crazy or is this brilliance? How do you do that?
Well, you have to bring on people that you trust. And that sounds simple, but if you can trust a really good actor or a really good DP or a really good sound person, then you can release a lot of that control, and you can get 4 or 5 takes, and you got 3 good ones. And then you got some stuff to choose from. And on average, I would say that we probably did 6 takes per shot.
Yeah.
So 6 over the shoulder, 6 over the shoulder, 6 medium, 6 wide.
Pretty good.
And then we had plenty to work with, and we had choices in editing, so it worked out well.
A lot of people say that a film is made in the editing booth, really. The pauses, I mean, you have to have good actors, but a good actor gives you the same performance every time and they're always good. Then really it's, do I show the reaction now or do I wait a beat? And I've done a little bit of editing, not on your level, obviously, but that to me is always the fascinating part. Is how you can completely change a scene just by a little music or a pause or... Well, anyway, enough about that. The result of all of this was The Beast of Trinity County.
The Beast of Trinity, Texas.
The Beast of Trinity, Texas, excuse me. I always
okay.
get that wrong. And I'm going to admit to you publicly, I have not seen it yet. I'm so sorry. I know everybody out there, I'm going to catch such heck for this, but everybody loves it. We had, you shot a lot of it, or some of it, at least here in Houston County. We had Dr. McCall there playing, as he told me, himself. And said, pretty much, and he said when you told him kind of the part, he said, well, that is me, so I think I could do that part.
Yeah.
How do you find Trinity, Texas from, the rest of the world?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I hear that a lot because from the outside, there's not much to. You drive through Trinity, there's not much to it, right? You don't think, okay, let's bring a movie here. But the cool thing about movies is you can build your own world. So we borrowed shots from Groveton, we borrowed shots from Galveston, we shot in Marfa, Texas, we shot in Crockett, Texas.
Right.
And we used all that to build our own world. There are shots from Trinity, Texas, few, but we built this fictional Trinity, Texas. So the reason is we were embraced in Trinity, Texas. We took this to city council. They were like, okay, bring it. They had a bad experience too. They were working off of a bad experience with another film production. And I convinced them after they heard our spiel that this was not going to be a bad production and that it was going to be a positive message and a fun ride, and they got on board. And then we went to the sheriff, and he was like, okay, we got a beast? Sure, let's do it. So I would say that the people, number one, of Trinity embraced the project. It's about an hour from where I live, down in the Woodlands.
Right.
We found everything that we needed there. The people are just fantastic. Just like in Crockett, they're just good East Texans, man.
Yeah.
And so they wanted to help.
Every day.
Yeah, they wanted to help, and so that's why Trinity. But the way that I knew about Trinity is I used to bring my kids up to camp in Trinity.
That's how I found Crockett from Houston. I was
Really?
a business owner in Houston.
Okay.
My dog and I used to come camping up here at Lake Radcliffe, and I said, what a cool little town.
Yeah.
And then a 100-year-old house came up for sale, and I thought,
Why not?
and one day he just ended up living here. I'm not sure how that happened.
Yeah, so I was driving my kids to camp for probably 4 or 5 years, maybe 6 years, and I kept seeing the sign, Trinity, Texas. Of course, Trinity holds some deep spiritual meaning.
Sure.
And underneath the sign, it said a city of prayer. And I think I was struck by that. At least when I started looking for small East Texas towns, the first one that came in was Trinity. Well, I drive my kids there. I've seen this sign. And so I took a trip to Trinity. I found the VFW Memorial Bridge, which we wrote into the script because of the significance and the storylines. And it just turned out to be a great decision. And I think the people are very happy.
Well, I want to ask, I want you to tell me more, but I do have a question. So, like Crockett, for example, has a state designation as a film-friendly city. As an independent filmmaker, does that, all this question, does that matter? Does that help you in some way?
Yeah, absolutely.
It sounds really important, but I don't know what it actually means.
Yeah, so I'll break it down for you. And of course, I don't know everything about it, but essentially, a film-friendly city is somebody who's gone through the legwork to come up with standard operating procedures, if you will. We have documents to sign for locations. It's basically saying, hey, we'll take a movie production. It's not carte blanche, but we're ready and we want to help.
Right.
And so that's a signal more than anything else.
Okay. In other words, we're open. Come.
Absolutely, yeah.
So you've got this vision. It took maybe 20 years to build in your brain. You go through all the blood, sweat, and tears to get it financed and the right people. And then it's in theaters. It's on Amazon. So how does that feel?
It feels amazing, man. It is a dream come true, literally. This is something that I dreamt up, and over 200 people got involved with. And now our combined efforts and our combined dreams and our passions and our money, they're showing up and they're entertaining people all over the world. That's incredibly gratifying.
I mean, there are kids in, Korea or somewhere that could access the movie and go, Trinity, Texas.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Well, I love.
Do you stop and think about that ever?
I do, because I'm actually seeing views pop up in the United Kingdom and Australia and Italy and Germany, and I'm going, wow. We took this idea in this small town. I mean, Trinity must have, 2,500 people in it or something like that?
Like that, probably, right.
And now it's on big screens, and streaming, and it's all over the world. It's incredible.
Are you a celebrity in Trinity? Is there like a Terry Weaver Day? The band, whenever
No,
you drive through or something?
No.
But then surely they must be grateful, though, to
Oh, yeah.
have given them such a,
Yeah.
and done them justice, not...
Yeah.
That's the fear when a big city filmmaker comes in. They go, well, here we go,
Right.
and everybody's a hick, and we're all obviously little East Texas towns. We know all kind of stuff going on, but that's always I think part of our fear. what, before we move on, because I know you're here to reveal some kind of news, which you haven't told me, but what about the experience did you gain? Obviously, you know, the confidence, but that you said, I'm going to do that different. I should have done that better. The next time I'm going to change this or that, or what kind of lessons do you learn to improve on, I guess, in a process like this?
All kinds of technical lessons, all kinds of leadership lessons, all kinds of people lessons.
Yeah.
When we had the blank canvas with just a dream, we were thinking, okay, we can grab that person and that thing and that location and that vehicle, and we can put it all together,
Right.
and we'll have a great soup.
Right.
Really, really, and what we came up with and the way it looks is amazing. I mean, I heard somebody say that every film that gets made is a miracle, and I would back that 100%, and I'll say it again and again forever, because it is a miracle. It took 200 people to pull this off,
Yeah.
and it's an indie.
Yeah, sure. Of
So,
course. Of course.
yeah, so it can be done a lot better technically, which we didn't have a lot of difficulty technically.
Right.
But we can just up our game for the next one. Get more pros involved, get more experienced actors involved.
Right.
It's just the next level.
Well, you know now better what you're looking for, and also now that you've done this, you've kind of broken that ceiling. I'm sure people are going to seek you out, say, hey, if you do that again, I'll be the DP, or I can help with this, or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Whatever. Last question before you get to the coming project. If Hollywood called tomorrow, right? Disney says, hey, we want you to, the new Batman movie, we want you to be, would you do it? I think you would have to, because that would probably film your next 8 projects. Fair enough, it's a stupid question. Do you think you would enjoy it as much having essentially unlimited funds, for our intents and purposes, but have to do it by that rigid studio style where they go, no, it's got to be this, and we negotiated in her contract, she gets 8.7 minutes of screen time per, you know. Do you think you would enjoy it as much?
I don't
Even having
think-
all the tools of the...
We started off the conversation talking about why I left the military. I'm an independent thinker. I'm an entrepreneur. I need to come up with an idea and execute it and
Yeah.
bring a vision to life that's in my mind. And I don't know that I would enjoy that as much. It's so neat to go out and find a location and then talk to the owner and then get approval from that owner and then see that home show up in a movie. It's just, I mean, building the world
Right.
is important, and to have 100 talking heads in your ear, it just wouldn't be as fun.
It is something when you have something in your brain, and let's say you're scouting a location, and you turn a corner and you go, "Oh, there's the house. That's the character's house right there."
Yeah,
You just have this connection.
you feel it in your gut.
Right,
Yeah.
right, and that's hard to explain to a committee, I suppose. Well, I understand. Little birdies have told me that you're working on a new film. Is that true?
That is true. Yeah.
Is there anything you'd like to share with us about the new film?
Yeah, my idea is to set it in Crockett, Texas. It could be by name, meaning we could name Crockett in the script, or we could leave it nondescript, but I love the way this city looks. It's a film-friendly city. I've made a lot of friends here. I have a great friend in Doc McCall. The people of Crockett really helped with the world premiere of The Beast of Trinity, Texas.
Proudly, very proud.
And we sold that place out, and it was an amazing
4
success.
doors that way, the
Yeah,
Ritz
the
thing.
Ritz, yeah.
Beautiful.
It was amazing. And so I think that the enthusiasm, the base of people who would get involved is here. And I think this city would look amazing on camera. And that's a big deal.
And we deserve it. We were trying so hard to get downtown renovated and different things going on, and that's so exciting.
Yeah.
That's so exciting. Downtown Crockett is very... When I first came to Crockett, I came through camping in the area, and I came to get some supplies, and I got lost or something, and ended up downtown, and I thought, I didn't know these kind of downtowns existed anymore, honestly.
Yeah.
And obviously now I know, the whole county, but some of the places here are unexpectedly breathtaking.
Yeah.
Either they're just amazing, or they're so subtle that 10,000 people walk by them every day and don't notice them. But anybody not from here looks and says, "Don't you know how cool that is? You
Exactly.
don't find that everywhere." Well, if it's going to be the Beast of Crockett, Texas, I'd like to at least do the casting for it?
So it'll be a new story. It's a completely new story, and it revolves around a Texas Ranger. So a Texas Ranger, the lore, the myth around that is just as amazing as a beast. And
Absolutely.
And I like to operate in the mystery genre and a detective mystery genre. So this will be about a Texas Ranger who's working to catch a serial killer.
Love that.
And he ends up catching a serial killer. And that's how the story unfolds. There is in the mystery genre, it's not as you expect. And there's big reveals throughout the story.
Have to be.
And this has some amazing big reveals. And it has a supernatural element. That's kind of all I'll pop in there. But it's got a supernatural element. Think, have you seen The Sixth Sense?
Of course.
Great,
Of course.
great surprises.
The reveal at the end of that movie is one of the greatest
It is.
of all time.
It is.
Basically.
Yeah.
That is so cool. I'm so excited. Well, what can the rest of us do in the meantime? How can we help? Do you need, people to submit locations, or is there some process? Because I know people are going to want to be a part of this.
Yeah, so the first goal in developing a film is to find, one, you got to have a great story. And I have that completed. I've been working on it for a year.
Oh, really? That's, wow.
Yeah, the story's done. You got to have the means to make the movie. So I'll be looking for executive producers to join the team. These are essentially people that can bring capital and some leadership and some insight. And if any of them like, being on camera, we can find a cameo role for them. A lot of my executive producers from the last film got to get in the film.
That's
and
good.
It's just a neat little nugget in there.
For sure.
So I'll go into development. In fact, we're starting that at the end of this month. And then we'll work on that until we raise about 50% of the budget.
Mm-hmm.
This will be about 5 times as big as the Beast of Trinity, Texas, budget-wise. And
Wow.
then we'll work with casting agents to find our lead actor, and we want a really solid lead actor for this one, who can really.
Well, that Ranger's got to be, he's got to really pull that off, doesn't he? Be
Yeah.
convincing, sure.
Because this guy goes through a very wild ride, a range of emotions, and he's got to be a talented actor to pull this off. Yeah. So that's what I'll be working at.
What do you think? Maybe spring or summer might begin kind of the actual
I
filming
think-
process? Or
No, it'll be later than that. That's very fast.
is it really?
Yeah.
Golly, this is such a process. People don't understand what goes into
People
making.
people don't understand. They're asking for the sequel to Beast of Trinity, Texas already, and I said, well, hang on, we got to get this thing out to the world first, and
That's
then
right.
then think about that. But I've got this next one written. I've got enough passion around the story. That's what's most important to me as a writer. The story has to be rock solid,
Yeah.
and this is a rock solid story. And if you start with that foundation, you can build very big on top of that. So I believe we've got the right story. I believe we can find what we need to make it happen in Crockett, Texas.
Yeah.
It's going to take some other leaders stepping up.
Sure.
But I think we can find it. I think we can find what we need.
Well, it's always good to talk to you. It's good to finally sit down like this and kind of talk one-on-one. And man, we're so grateful for that. That's amazing. God bless you. And yeah, anything we can do around here, we'll sweep up the streets. We'll dress in a period costume, whatever we have to do.
I love it, man.
I
Thanks
can
for
learn how to
being-
juggle. Just let us know what you need.
Thanks for being all in.
Thank you very much.
Houston County News, a weekly podcast program broadcast each Sunday by the Messenger newspaper. The program is a mix of news and interviews with highlights on our local schools, government, community leaders, and local events. The show promotes Houston County and tourism. We have now received hot tax funding from the county to support the show, and a unanimous vote by the county commissioners. Available each week for free on the Messenger website, Facebook, and YouTube. Houston County News draws between 25 and 50% of residents of Houston County and is growing to areas beyond. We're proud to speak each week with elected and government leaders, local pastors, and always with our local students front and center as contributors. Hosted by Messenger reporter Greg Ritchie, Houston County News is the first and only video news program in our area, and an amazing place to attract new customers and support the community by sponsoring the show. There are many ways to advertise with us, from a fully produced video commercial a simple version of your business and promotions, and sponsorship of sections or live mentions. Let us help you grow your business and be part of this growing and exciting new platform. Houston County News, where Houston County comes together.
Thank y'all so much for watching this week's podcast. I hope y'all tune in for next week, and I hope y'all all have a very Merry Christmas.
Oh, come, all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. Oh, come.